And we are live. Welcome back to the late night version of the Wildlands campaign. Bella, are you signing into Roll20?
Oh, I forgot I wasn't already signed in. Yes.
Sure. So we are here with about half of the group. We are going to have to see about what schedule works going forward. But we at least can get a game in today, so we're going to do that. And it is at a very dramatic moment indeed. So, last time, you guys delved into the parallel universe leyline vortex. Granted with the blessing of the of Kolnegosa the Pure, the dead dragon princess, and you made your way through these catacombs on the 6th level of the Ushzak Ziggurat, and found a prison that only exists in this plane of existence, so well hidden, even the gods cannot see this place. And Akiri very much, and to a lesser degree Vapos, felt this to be true.
Vapos is terrified of this place for very different reasons.
There's a lot of reasons to be terrified of this place.
Look at all that Trump TM.
You managed to bypass several of the terrifying guardians and kind of ambient Walking Dead of the catacombs, following the animal scratches, the animal shapes scratched into the walls, in the sequence given to you by your friend Captain Sutherland. Finally, you came to this hidden prison that only exists in this leyline realm. And there you found a bunch of undead guardians tirelessly keeping watch over the prison, led by two strange necromancers wearing masks and other strange accoutrements. And you slayed them. You slayed them after taking some hefty damage from their powerful magics. You went through a certain sequence and you opened the prison, which was the green glowing orb right here. And you met Bella's father, Eldan Enderal, the great bard of tragedy. He is a bit weak and wobbly, his legs having atrophied with disuse due to the length of time he's been in this prison. And he was overjoyed hardly describes it, but for the first time in our game, Bella was finally reunited with her father, and he was overjoyed to get out of prison to see his daughter, but for the first time, Bella's seen him look old. This hundreds years old elf. He looks old and he looks tired, but still determined and desperate to get out. Desperate to get out of Pyramid and out of this other plane of existence, this other realm that you are in. And so supported on one side by Bella, and I forget who was on the other side. He
Vapos
on the other side. He stumbled down the stairs and said, "There's so much to talk of, but we haven't got any time."
No, getting out of here as quickly as possible. We have some more friends on the other side. They'll be able to help get us out more quickly.
That's good. That's good. But we've got to hurry. With the prison opened, they'll be collapsing this part of the reality.
Yeah, we gotta run. Let's go.
All right. We skedaddle as fast as possible back up the thing. And make sure that we, give a little bow to whatever undeads we see. But we go as fast as possible toward where we entered.
So you're going to go this way?
Unless someone has another reason to go a different way.
You bow to the one-eyed floating skull, and it turns away from you due to your respect. None of these guardians outside of the immediate vicinity of the prison seem bothered by Eldon Enderall's escape. And as you are running, supported with him supported by Vapos and Bella, Bref, are you with them? I can't remember. You're not with them, are you?
I'm hanging out with the dragon, attuning myself to my cool new sword, and not much else.
Actually, you've been in combat. But we're gonna get to that in a minute. Because four of you, including Bref, Mavra,
Thrasher and
Typha, thank you. All stayed upstairs to guard against the gravekeepers that were growing restless and thinking about coming down and taking you all out. So they were guarding the door to make sure that you would be undisturbed as you rescued Bella's father. So, Bref, you've seen a little action due to that. But it hasn't been too long, fortunately. You think. Okay, so Bella and Vapos, you hear Eldon. He can't take his eyes off Bella. He's not confused, but he's just overcome with emotion, and he's actually crying as you guys are helping him get out of here because he can't really walk on his own right at the moment, or at least he certainly can't run. And as he watches you bowing to the skull, he says, "Oh, that's what she did. We have to get out before she comes back."
I do not know who she is, but I could not agree more.
He says,
Yeah.
"The white-haired lady, the captain."
Yeah, Puck LeBlanc. She's
Aye, she's the one who threw me in here. Captured me in the first place.
You'll have to tell me everything later, but you just rest. We need to get you we need to get you back to normal.
So as you pass by the one-eyed skull, with its glowing red orbs all around it, you hear this series of sounds behind you that are fairly alarming. Getting closer. And closer.
Yep, running faster.
It does appear, audibly, to be that this corner of this reality is literally collapsing.
Fantastic.
You swarm up the stairs. And he says, "Can you smell that? The brimstone? The Hollow One is near."
Akiri doesn't like that.
And you smell this sulfuric smell now that he mentions it. This sort of gas pushing up through the cracks in the stones. And you feel this heat and bubbling sound behind you as more and more of this place is collapsing. As though the stones themselves are giving up their integrity and melting.
We are continuing to go
before.
You swarm up the stairs. And you come to... I'll move you. With the eye thing. You come to a place where you came down. There's a stone floor at the top of these stairs, and there's this sort of whirlpool of water. And it's actually going down into the ground there.
Jumping into it?
Jumping into it.
Alright, let's go.
Absolutely.
No way this could go badly. Absolutely not.
I mean, it's our only known way in or out of this place, so.
Mm-hmm.
As the stones around you melt like surrealist art, like clocks in surrealist art, somewhere between lava and something far stranger. The room begins to collapse as the last of you jump into the whirlpool and are sucked in. And you have this weird sensation of motion, of being pulled downward and then being pulled back the other way, or as though gravity has somehow flipped in the middle of that. And you get spat out. But before we get to that, Bref, you and 3 of your party members are up here, guarding these stairs. You may notice that a lot of things are missing. That's because when the party went through to the parallel reality, all of these things were gone. I'm going to ask you to make 3 strength checks or athletics to try and hold the door closed. But you need to get best 2 out of 3. You get advantage on that when you rage, right?
That's true. If I felt there were people coming to attack us, I would have gone into a rage to hold the door shut.
Okay, then you would get to rage. Which would give you barely best 2 out of 3. You will successfully hold off the onslaught. And you also, actually, you would have also gotten advantage from the other party members helping you with spell and strength assisting you. However, their resources are mostly depleted. You being the mighty guy that you are, the mighty barbarian. You are not, but we're going to explain away the other player's absence that way. So their resources are mostly depleted, but you're mostly all right. As that struggle raged. Now, you finish that up, and you've held the door, and they've gone away again, sealing the door. And time is passing. Lots of time. Typha and Frasher and Mavra decide to take a rest. Hours are passing.
Guys, I'm starting to get a little worried.
Typha says, yes, perhaps we should go check on them.
Yeah, I think that's probably for the best. During this time, could I have attuned to my new sword and reattuned to my fancy belt?
Absolutely.
Excellent. I'm once again so beefy. All right, let's get going. We're gonna head
Who's
down.
going to guard the door?
Oh, dang it. Oh, jeez.
Can you charge this? What's our G's?
Oh, commentary from my youngest. Mavra, do you want to stay here by the door?
She says, I'll
Let
stay.
us know when it's coming. Okay.
I'll stay.
Oh, did I just...
You just moved yourself.
And I moved Thrasher. How did I move... Okay.
I think you were on top of him.
Yeah, but I can still move him.
Oh. Well, obviously there's some setting that's...
Yeah. It's Roll20. It's a wonderful tool with features.
No, it's fine. I just have to turn off that you can move him, that's all. Anyway. There you go. See, now you can't. So you guys get over to the vortex. And at this point, it's been hours.
Do we know this?
I think so.
No. For you, it has been minutes.
Kind of a timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly situation.
Half an hour at the most. And Bref, and as you and Thrasher are about to jump in, Ak-Iri, Bella, Vapos, Draco, and an old-looking elf who looks quite keen-eyed but very frail are spat out of the whirlpool.
Oh, there you are!
Stone.
Help! I sort of
I
pull Breath over and I say, he can't walk. Can you help?
Oh, sure. I pick up the frail old man.
Thrasher says, you have brought us a snack for later.
No, I think this is probably Bella's dad. Are you Bella's dad?
I am, young man.
Oh, it's nice to finally meet you.
It's nice to meet you as well. And nice to be out of prison. But we do not
Yes.
seem to be out of the woods yet.
These are all my friends. And I guess it's you know, they can help us get out of here. We made it all the way down with not too many problems.
That is very well. We would certainly be smart to get out of here before she comes back.
Yeah.
But then perhaps we can have a proper reunion. And whatnot. I would be glad of some nourishment. Some victuals would do something to start me on the road to regaining my strength.
Vapos will pull out one of his rations or one of his ration packs and hand it to him and say, "Please take mine. I've lost my appetite."
Ah, that's unfortunate. Ah, yes, adventurer's hardtack. The chow of those on the road.
Well, here, I'll pull out like some dried fruit and stuff that's
Oh, I
a
don't
little
mean
bit
to
less.
complain. It's not a complaint. I simply remember these from younger days.
Yeah.
It's quite nostalgic for me. I know this is the stage of life you're at, daughter.
Well, we have a room at an inn. We'll take you back there and we can get you some real food.
Good.
And probably a drink.
I have been around dead things for far too long. I assume we're not expecting any further trouble?
Well,
I really hope not, but let's not find out.
we did have them. They tried to come down through the stairs. You know, the one where they locked us out before. It was kind of the reverse. We held them back, but they might try that again. Right now, Maver's keeping watch.
Ah, the masked ones. I was hoping you would pick up on that clue. Although, well, I don't know how long it took you, but it seemed like a long time.
When we first talked to you, we were pretty far away, and it took us a
This is
while.
not an easy place to break into either.
No, and we came as fast as we could. I'm
I'm
sorry
sure
it took
you did.
long.
I'm
So
sure you
what-
did.
All right. So, sorry to break this up, but we should probably get out of here. Are we gonna go out the way we
Yes.
came in, or?
The Dame Swordwing is right. We should get ourselves out of here as soon as may be.
I actually stopped security in her track attack because she wasn't expecting that, but she's not gonna correct him.
Alright.
If I may suggest, I'm certain that the way that we came in will certainly be the most expedient way. Though, given how long we've been here, it's possible they may have discovered that entrance and be waiting for us on the other side.
Suppose the question is, do we have another option?
I don't really think we do.
Do any of you have any flying carpets, magic brooms, tree
I can fly.
strides, teleportation circles?
We're not quite that impressive, I'm sorry.
I wish.
Oh dear.
I can run pretty fast.
Why?
That's pretty much our usual strategy.
Yeah,
He's
we're just
quite a
running fast.
specimen, isn't he, daughter?
Well, no.
Would you call yourself a specimen, sir?
Wait.
I hear you behind his back is nodding like yes.
You are a physical manifestation of athletic prowess.
Okay, I think I know what specimen means, but not in this context. No, I don't go in for the science, sir.
Ah. Indeed. I can see that. Well, never let it be said that the Western barbarians were not welcome to be my rescuer at any time. Perhaps if you can run fast, then you can scout ahead or whatever the thing is to be done. You are the adventurers.
Let's just start moving.
Yeah, I don't
Here's getting
think we know of any other way out. Except, I mean, we could. There is, the staircase, but that's less than ideal.
Yeah, I think we're not going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, we know that way would lead to conflict. We don't know if the waterway would have the same result.
Yep.
Indeed,
Akiri's already-
I can swim through the waterway first in order to determine if there's any danger.
I'm sure you can. You have the look of one who knows the water well, to say the least. But what about the rest of us?
Well, if he scouts ahead, then perhaps he can let us know whether our plan of escape is even worth trying. But
I see.
Tifa has water breathing.
should we not just go? Yeah, Tifa can help us all swim.
Yeah, Tifa can cast water breathing.
Very well. Then let's head back and see if this plan can work at all.
Let's go.
And also at this point, Vapos will turn to Bella's dad and actually bow more formally and say, "I apologize for not introducing myself formally before, but please call me Vapos, and it is a pleasure to meet you, sir."
Likewise, young Vapos. You are an interesting person. I have met your kind before, but I suppose we will have to discuss that another time.
Vapos will just smile and say, "Well, I suppose that makes one of us." But again, as you say, a discussion for another time.
Well, lead on. I'll just lean on your shoulders here. The both of you.
Oh no, that's fine. I can just pick you up. And pick him up.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Too late.
You
Okay,
scoop up the old man, somewhat against his will.
Important distinction. Is this fireman carry or bridal style?
Oh, it's bridal style.
Okay.
Excellent.
Bridal style.
Well, yeah, Vapos is gonna head directly for the waterway.
Like
And-
Akiri is like waiting.
Yeah, or actually, he will just say, "Akiri, if you don't mind, would you please go and let the others know that we are getting ready
That's
to leave?"
right. Okay. She's gonna go tell the other people by the staircase that hey, we're skedaddling.
You fly up there and grab the rest of them, and they come to join you, and everybody runs back through all of the various rooms, or past several that you never entered, and gets ready to jump into the aqueduct, the channel of water there by which you came in. Tifa ritually casts, or just casts, water breathing upon, I think she can get most of you that don't already have it.
Yeah, I believe she can cast it on 8 people.
Oh wow.
Should be
So between myself already having water breathing and her being able to shapeshift into something that can, I think that gets everybody.
Definitely.
right.
All right. Well, Vapos will slip into the water and just say, "When you're ready, please open the portcullis."
All right,
whoever's
let's
standing
do it.
by.
Akiri will.
You leap into the channel, and you yank on the lever opening the portcullis, and you swim away. As you do so, there are a series of loud explosions.
Oh.
I don't like that.
Just
I
behind
will
you.
I will take a risk and out probably like 30 feet out. I'll pop my head above the water to try to see what's going on.
You can see these tendrils of inky purple magic flickering through the water and swimming after you. As though swimming after you. It looks like the aftershock of some weird spell. And then there are more explosions lighting up the landscape because there are fireworks being shot off the top of the ziggurat.
Okay. Well, Vapos will swim back and let the others know that the coast is clear. Or that we've got kind of a window of opportunity, and we should go.
All right, let's book it.
There you go. You do indeed have a window of opportunity. And you get away. Swimming as hard as you can. You're really going to have to drag him through the water. Drag that great bard through the water.
Once he's in the water, I'll help with bringing him along.
Yeah, it won't be that hard for you, actually.
And I'm kind of hoping like he can like grab around my shoulders and Vapos.
Yeah, but you don't really trust his grip, to be honest. He's a little frail. Looks like he was once strong, but he's frail at the moment. He is very unhappy with being tossed around all of this.
He can go back to the prison if he wants, but
Yeah, I'll try to swim with him as gently as I can while maintaining pace with the rest of the group.
Cool. I've been trying to find like a good token for him, and I have grandpa zombies and grandma zombies, but that's not really right. I have chibi ninjas.
What?
But I don't.
I mean, that makes sense.
This is really the only old man I've got. It seems.
the purple is very bardic.
It is
I
indeed.
literally can't hear the words grandma and grandpa anymore without singing Baby Shark.
Fortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. This is my life now.
Yep.
It doesn't
We-
look like her dad.
We have kept that one from our children.
Oh. That's an interesting strategy. You leave the Ushzak pyramid behind. Congratulations.
Thing.
We did it, guys!
Oh boy.
Winning!
Yay. That's such a pretty piece of art.
Popping your heads out of the water some distance away, you can see the clouds swirling around the peak of the mountain-sized pyramid. The fireworks shooting off and exploding with glowing lights and whirls and swirls in the air. It seems the ceremonies for the Lady Ayala Rothdal's passing are well underway. Despite the disturbance in one level of the pyramid. now that you have escaped, what would you like to do? It is the middle of the night and quite cold. As you are swimming through the water, by the way, you pass some shreds of fish that were like the bones are like kind of flowing down river still.
Good fish friend.
Along with some junk dropped in the river by passerby. And
And once we're back on land, I will also use my Disciple of the Elements or my Elemental Attunement, so that I can clean the water off of everyone, so that we don't look super suspicious like we're just walking around soaking wet.
Got it. So when you're a ways away, you slip out of the water and into the trees. That surround the pyramid, off the road, and start to Vapos. How do you dry everyone off?
I have an ability, Elemental Attunement.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of got general effects. You can create harmless instantaneous sensory effects related to air, earth, fire, or water, such as a shower of sparks, a puff of wind, spray of light mist, or a gentle numbing or rumbling of stone. You can instantaneously light or snuff out a candle, chill or warm 1 pound of non-living material, that kind of thing.
Prestidigitation. Very cool.
Yeah.
I just want to point out that after getting out of the water, Breath's now rather floppy, bright pink mohawk. He's going to shake the water off, but then it just dries instantly, but he's still shaking his head. Takes him a moment to realize what's happened.
Yes, indeed. Breath's new look, given to him by an enchantress in a tower.
Here he goes. Poof.
So there's quite a number of people about, and through the flickering light of the leaves blowing in the wind, in the forest all around you, you can see many campfires, and the light of the sort of market that exists at the base or near the base of the pyramid. And people are actually taking the opportunity of the ceremonies, the grand ceremonies, to do a lot of business, even in the middle of the night here. So it is well that you are dry when a gangly group of teens passes by, laughing and joking, probably wobbly with their first drink, as they seem to have made their way here from the city or from elsewhere, and are taking their chance. But they observe you, and while you are quite a motley collection of interesting creatures,
I'm assuming at some point we should have discussed this too, right?
you are not sopping wet, and so when you when they see you and they say, "Hi, some gravekeepers have escaped from their prison," they have no reason to think you've been swimming in the river.
Yes, we have been sent out to retrieve more supplies from Westhead, a very special order. But please, don't let us get in your way. Continue enjoying the festivities. That's what they're here for.
It's like a big wake is happening. By the way, Memo Screen Name in chat says, you reunited a daughter and her father, smote some bad dudes, removed the curses of powerful beings you all pissed off repeatedly, and made new enemies out of powerful beings. Good job, guys.
Par for the course.
Thank you.
Eldan is kind of looking around and says, perhaps you should take off those disguises.
I think now is a good time for that. Yes.
Well, assuming no one else is nearby.
I am going nowhere else tonight. Could we make a fire, perhaps?
Sure. Yeah. Let's set up camp somewhere. I think we'll be pretty inconspicuous here.
Chilled to the bone and ready to breathe the free air.
Yeah.
We should find a place that's not too close to people, but close enough that we can blend in a bit.
I mean, casting about for an appropriate campsite. Can I make maybe a survival check?
Yep.
Would anyone like to help me look?
Well,
Yeah, I'll help you out.
It's a team effort.
There you go. 24 for survival. Per Bella's instructions, she just said, you find the perfect campsite. Not too far from the road that it's weird. Not too close that random passerby are going to bother you. Very comfortable. In fact, there's like these natural beds of moss just waiting for you. In fact, Eldan suits his action to the circumstance and just flops down, pushes off of Vapos and Bella and flops down onto a bed of moss. And there's like a previously made stone circle for a campfire. It's just the perfect campsite. And it's not very inviting. There's thick brush surrounding you, so it's not very inviting, and you'll certainly hear anyone trying to approach.
Okay. We should still set up watches, but yeah, I'll get a campfire going, and pass out. I think I still have rations.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Most of us
set up
do.
a tent over where my dad is, and I'll give him the black rabbit skin cloak and just kind of tuck it as thoroughly around him as possible.
He says, "Oh, that's very comfortable. Thank you. I have not been able to properly sleep for a long, long time."
Well, you can sleep now. We'll keep watches.
Oh, that's good. I'm so glad to see you, Bella. You guys light up a fire. It's warm and inviting. You get to eat some relatively warm food. You get to dry out more in your bones, as it were. Get the warmth that Vapos's magic can't really give you, or whatever Vapos does if it's not magic. And his water bending, and you pretty soon have a cheerful campsite going. And in fact, after sleeping in your last sleeping place was in a tomb, and was creepy and musty smelling and weird. Or I guess it smelled fresh because of the magic of the water, but still, it was a weird place. And this is more like the life you guys are used to as adventurers. Camping out in the forest, the moths coming to check out your campfire, and your conversation and your spirits lift a little, even as the night's gloom is thick all around. And every now and then there's these fireworks that go up from the Ushzak pyramid as the gravekeepers try to show off for the Duke Rothdal and show how devoted they are to the family name.
as the fireworks are going, Vapos is going to just kind of sit in pensive silence for a moment before saying, I am now convinced that we need to remove this Lord Rothdal from power. The place that we rescued Sir Eldan from. You all remember that I spoke to you about the enemies that I seek, whose names I would not speak here.
Yes.
That plane was the plane where they hide. And I fear that that his access to that place is no coincidence.
That's extra troubling since there seems to be strong indications that LeBlanc may also be allied. She's the one who put the old man here in prison in the first place.
Indeed, she did. Perhaps I can clear up a few points for you. Captain LeBlanc. That's very interesting, Sir Vapos. What you say about that place and those others whose name you will not mention, though I think I can guess it at this point, from what I've overheard. But, well, perhaps we should remain circumspect. But it is very important to understand that the Duke's magic, or perhaps it is some magic inherent to this place and the walls of Westhead, protects from that organization.
That's strange, considering how much they seem to dislike things existing. I wonder why this place would be protected.
Well, perhaps they are... The thing to understand about them, and the thing to understand about LeBlanc... Well, I don't know about... Well, the thing to understand about LeBlanc is that she is a double agent. She is playing two sides. What she cares about is profit. And she will serve whomever she thinks can give that to her to the greatest degree. Now, this organization that inhabits that realm where I was being held captive, they are quite intimidating. But to answer your question, Bella, they are cautious. Incredibly cautious. Beyond cautious. Now, why, you might ask? And I would tell you. No doubt, Sir Dame Swordwing over here is feeling a rush of connection once more to her patron. Patron deity, am I right?
Yeah.
For the cycle gods do bless this place and keep it safe. But they cannot see into the ley line realm.
Makes sense.
And that is why this organization has taken up residence there. They fear the wrath of the cycle gods.
For good reason. While we were in that pyramid, I saw how one of them came into her power.
Ah. Interesting. Yes, I would not do what they asked of me. And what I suspect the great bards that are in their more direct control are being forced to do.
And what's that?
Create.
What?
That is the terrible secret which I have pieced together from listening to Captain Puck LeBlanc give orders and pull off her machinations. You see, she has figured out what they want, and she was trying to use me as a bargaining chip. She doesn't want to piss off the Lich on the one side, and she doesn't want to piss off this organization on the other side. They are not really enemies, but they don't want to get in each other's business too much.
That makes sense.
The thing is that this secret organization is far, far better at keeping their secrets than Duke Rothdal is.
Is the Calamity League connected to this at all?
Oh. That's an interesting name to be throwing about. How have you heard of them?
Well, we interacted with one of their member a while back around Akiri here's home.
Yeah, she actually taught my brother how to use magic.
Oh. Fascinating. Daughter, I had hoped that one day you would join their ranks.
Oh,
Oof.
a coin.
Oh! And so you have. Quite
More or
right.
less.
Hmm?
More or less.
More or less. Well, it's a loose association dedicated to preserving the works of bards, great bards, such as myself, not to be have any false modesty about it.
Right. Also, that reminds me, speaking of people who we might want to loop in, excuse me for a moment. I need to wake up my axe.
You say that really fast, it sounds like you're saying your ex.
So I pull out the axe and I wake it up. And
Alright. Waking up the axe? And beautiful humming comes out of the axe. And your father looks quite surprised.
And I say, I hope I'm not interrupting anything, Vadani, but my father's here and he's letting us know some things that I think might be pertinent to you. And that
Vadani. Vadani Kirthreth? The Great Bard?
Yes, he's indisposed at the moment, but he's been traveling with us for a little while.
The voice comes from the axe. What are those rascally elvish tones I hear?
No.
Bella, are you going to introduce us?
Yes, Vidani, this is my father, Eldon Enderol, although I have a feeling perhaps you already know each other.
I think a previous wielder may have spoken of him. Perhaps we met. My memory is not always perfect anymore. And your father says, Vadani, what has happened to you? Is this why you disappeared?
Yes, he got himself into a little bit of trouble with dragons, and he's been traveling the world as an axe ever since. But now he's with me, and I think that that'll be a much better position for him. So, Vidani, my father was letting us know some things about the current situation of the great bards in the world, and I thought perhaps you would be interested to listen in on the conversation.
I'll happily listen. Let me know if I can help it some way. I think the best way that you can help is also the best way I can help, which is to stay safe and stay out of the clutches of that organization. Whose name we are being careful not to mention, but which I will. Your father takes a stick from the ground and he scratches the word into the dirt and then immediately erases it.
I really wish I could read.
The word is Netheros.
I tell Bref, I think you can probably guess which word it is.
Vapos, he's
But
watching.
please,
your
please,
reaction.
Bref, do not say it.
He's watching your reaction, Vapos.
Yeah, Vapos will nod to him.
He immediately scratches it out of the dirt. They are beyond cautious. Tell me, how did your axe stay out of their clutches? Certainly he was not trackable by the astrologers. Due to being in this form, he could not create his art, and so the stars would not have turned upon his music.
He was actually in kind of an unusual situation, being down in a dungeon that was haunted by a serial killer that had turned into a demon. It was very complicated, but that's where we found him.
Where was
and
this dungeon?
with us ever since.
Where was this dungeon?
It was underneath the prisons here.
Here?
Wet
In the pyramid.
Well, in Westhead. In Westhead.
Ah, in Westhead. Yes, as I told you.
I think you need to tell me a lot more about Westhead. For example, apparently we're like royalty or something, which has been nice and confusing.
No, not royalty. But it was in Westhead where sweet the sweet Empress bestowed her favor upon me.
Oh?
Her Imperial Majesty, the Empress Solène IV.
Right.
So I had a bit of notoriety back in the day. I wouldn't be too surprised if the name Enderal still carried a certain heft, although we are by no means royals, I'm afraid. Sorry.
Well, close enough. Closer than I realized. I don't think that you've ever even really mentioned any of that to me, ever.
Oh,
So it was a bit of a
irrelevant.
surprise
It
to find out
happens
that I was recognized at all.
hundreds of years before you were born.
Even so.
Well, perhaps when my biography is published, you'll be able to gather all those details.
Right.
I think my biographer is dead now, however.
Well, then that'll be a wrench in the works.
Oh, I'll get another one, I suppose, but one of these days.
Well, in any case, speaking of keeping you safe, that seems to be difficult and also our primary concern. If you're being tracked by astrologers who you think can find you wherever you go, how do we do that?
Well, that is a puzzle, isn't it? I suppose, as I have mentioned, there's a certain amount of safety inherent to Westhead because of its powerful ruler. But I suppose that will not stop them forever. I wonder what their plans are. They must be, let's call them the N. You know. I just wrote their name down. They must be scheming. They must be planning some kind of coup in the City of Rebels. They wouldn't stand for it forever.
How do you think that they could possibly keep this whole situation secret from Lord Rothdal, considering that his family operates the pyramid?
What's the secret?
You.
Oh, he knows about me. He knew about me. But he doesn't know that Captain LeBlanc is a double agent.
I suppose I just don't think that he's the best person to trust to keep you safe.
No, I agree. I don't want to be stuck here, but on the other hand, I'm a little afraid to leave.
Well, another thing that might, change your opinion is I think that Mother's still in town.
Oh. That's interesting. What's she doing here?
Performing.
Causing riots.
Riots?
Well, yes. Unfortunately.
Oh dear.
In fairness, the riots were not entirely her fault.
Oh. Well, I suppose that makes sense. Do you think it could have something to do with them?
Possibly? But goodness knows that there's plenty of unrest in the city without them.
I suppose so. Still, it would be just like
political satire play.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, that was why there were riots, is because the people who were in
Kind
favor of the person who was being satirized were angry, and the people who were against the person who were being satirized were also angry, and then the riot broke out, and Mother just happened to be in the middle of it because she was starring in the show.
Kind of lowbrow material, but some good things can come of that.
I think that it was just what was available at the time. Plus, we had heard that you were here. We didn't really realize what the circumstances were until
Yes.
later, when we were already on our way.
Yes.
And she seems to have some sort of opinion about West Head politics, which I don't completely understand, but you know, that's Mother.
Well, it was really rather fortunate how things have worked out. Perhaps it's fate. I mean, after all, I could easily have been captured like poor Val Irlirith and the rest. But the pirates got me first.
I suppose that's a version of luck.
Sir, and believe me, I am certainly very happy you are alive, so don't take this the wrong way, but why didn't they just kill you?
Whom?
The people holding you in prison. If you wouldn't give them what they wanted, I mean, were they hoping to break you? Well, do you know?
Yes, this touches upon the question Vapos asked a moment ago. Well, you see, they need me. They were trying to extract a play from me in order to prove that I am alive and capable of performing as a great bard.
And why would they care about that?
Because I was her bargaining chip for them. And now, the great question, of course, is why do they want me and the other great bards so very badly? Yes, it's not just me. It's not just your old man, the great bard of tragedy, Elden Enderal. No. They need all 9 of us. And that's why you should not bring that axe any farther from the city or the ziggurat. Because they will pursue either one of us to the ends of the earth.
I see.
Yes. I wonder what you thought of it, my little puzzle. Obviously, between that and the messages that your friend managed to get through, you solved enough to rescue me, for which I am very thankful. But did you decipher the rest?
Well, I thought I had, but perhaps this is a good opportunity to ask you any further questions.
I suppose so. Dancer's doom, dragon's tomb, inescapable. History's ending, desperate sending, conflagrational. Spirited away, captain's play, tragedical. Next, satire, comedic lyre, monarchical. Westward headed, inkbloods netted, apocalyptical. Surely you remember the Inkbloods.
All too well. We managed to encounter, I think, certain aspects of it. We were actually traveling with a dragonborn who came from, well, a place that no longer exists for some
Lagrana?
time. No. Krimfenstall. Oh, Lagrana, right. Yes,
A place that no longer exists.
indeed.
That's
I don't know
right.
what we're saying, what we're not anymore.
That is the dragon's doom I referenced. The
And
tomb.
as for history's ending, I think that there might have been a tragedy. When we passed by, well, the historian's home, it seemed to be abandoned.
Good Sir Vapos, were you still among the members of their cults 2 years ago, or had you left by that time?
I was still with them at that time.
Really? Interesting.
Yes, although I was still in training.
Ah. Well, were you at all aware of a great contingent of powerful water sorcerers and beings such as yourself being sent off to a great attack, perhaps?
I do recall some rumors to that extent, but I never learned much or many specifics about it.
And perhaps the Whisperer herself was on the move.
Vapos's eyes go very wide when he says that name.
And on our plane of existence, risking exposure to the cycle gods to take some great action. What could that have been, do you think?
Was it when Lagrana was wiped out?
The drowning of Lagrana, the great floods, the terrible rain for a week, and the tidal wave that crashed through the entire city, taking the most brilliant dancers and mages and all the complex culture and society of one of the greatest cities to ever exist in the Wildlands, and wiping it off of the map. No?
Vapos will just nod very slowly and say, given the nature of the object that I saw her steal, that certainly seems within the realm of her abilities.
Indeed. Within the realm of her abilities. It would have had to have been, one would assume, either a natural disaster, the realm of the gods, or something almost as powerful, or someone. And that is the truth of it.
Vapos will almost whisper, someone holding the heart of the elemental plane of water.
Someone pursuing a goal so grand and inconceivable that only the great bards could contain it in their minds. And the death of 100,000 Dragonborn means virtually nothing in the face of it. But why? That's the great question, wasn't it? Why was Legrana drowned? Was it simply spite? Malice? Some revenge? Why on earth would it be necessary to wipe out an entire city of such incredible magical power and talent?
We do know that other dark beings gain power from the suffering, sometimes the suffering of an entire species. Mavra here, she's seeking to aid not just her father, but all dwarf kind, trying to find a solution to the pink chill that we've learned is not from this world.
Ah, that affliction which troubles the dwarves now and again. Well, perhaps, but as Vapos has pointed out, what need have you of such a thing when you possess the heart of the deep blue? Well, daughter, what know you of the medallion that you hold and their purpose?
Not as much as I probably should, if I'm willing to flash it at any given opportunity.
Could you play that card to the table?
Yeah.
Another theory would be that there is some great calamity, some judgment of the gods upon the city. That is what the League would assume, after all. They have on their medallion the sigils of these great calamities, these dooms. Foremost among them, the cleansing rains, symbolized by the blue lightning around the edge.
Yuri's gonna nod. Recently, my people have been, a lot of our sages and wise people have been getting visions and prophecies about watch the skies.
Well, that is terrifying. There are two other dooms. There is the Beast and the Void. But they do not concern us at this moment. But they are symbolized on the medallion as well. What are they, you might ask? What are these three great calamities? Well, they are what keep the Wildlands wild. You may have heard in your history classes that the Wildlands can never seem to stay united. A great empire rises, a great empire falls. It is not like Sergidia to the south, others around our Wildlands, beloved as they may be, they seem to have these lasting dynasties or governments or cultures that control their lands for long, long periods of time. But for whatever reason, or reasons, it always seems to fall apart in the Wildlands. You see, what the Calamity League knows and told to the Inkbloods is that in each case, one of these great dooms would come. One of these great calamities would come and wipe the board clean, ending the empire that grew so strong.
I see.
Let me ask you one more question. What if you had some elemental power so enormous, so great, that you could trick the gods, or even utilize or bring about one of their calamities?
Well, I suppose you're not asking about me personally.
No, I'm not. I am trying to make you understand the scale of this power. It is very great. And that is the reason why Lugrana was drowned, despite the fact that it was, well, perhaps because of the fact that it was so mighty and so full of great and terrible mages in their own right. They grew too strong. And something was triggered that could suppress their powers and, shall we say, cleanse their city from this realm of existence.
You know, it's funny because you mentioned a few times that it was full of powerful mages and also great dancers.
Mm-hmm.
And also that they want the great bards to create something, which you haven't really gone into yet, but it seems that I wonder if they want to limit who can create. Perhaps there was too much great art and dancing and music happening there, just like there was in the Vea Empire, maybe in other empires before it.
The truth is, there's a reason I cannot say it straight out. There's a reason this is so secret. Is because to even conceive of this plan, this goal, this terrible purpose of theirs, is to bring destruction upon you and everyone you know or will know or have known.
That seems dramatic.
Why do you think the gods are called the Cycle Pantheon? Why is the calendar called, well, it's called the Wild Calendar, but it could as easily be called the Cycle Calendar.
I suppose I never really thought about it. I assumed it was because the seasons of the year repeat and each of the gods presides over them.
That would certainly make sense. So, what happens if another god comes into being?
I don't suppose I've ever heard of such a thing, but it must happen.
What if someone on our plane grew so strong and so great and terrible and powerful that they ascended to godhood themselves? Do you think the Pantheon would welcome them?
It might depend on who they were.
And what would happen to that cycle?
It would change.
It would change. It would be broken. You see, there is another cycle that happens in the Wildlands. And I've already mentioned it. Great empires rise. And then something happens and they fall. And that is the true cycle of the Wildlands. But if someone were to come to understand this, all these secrets, and were to have such hubris that they should wish to challenge that reality, that they felt it was deeply unfair, that there should be a limit on us mortals, that there should be this cycle, that the gods are interfering in our empires and our power. Well, what could they possibly do to challenge those truths?
So, are you saying that the dogma that I've learned for my whole life and only recently started rejecting was actually the truth?
There is truth in everything, young Vapos. But let me ask you this. Now that you know these things, do you think the drowning of Lagrana was justified? Before you answer, let me tell you something you may not have known, which is that not every one who was in Lagrana perished that terrible night in that great cleansing. One.
At least one who got away.
I suspect that your friend was already out of the city when the attack occurred. Am I right? The Dragonborn you see nowadays just happened to have slipped out. Or perhaps they were abroad on traveling on some kind of trade or business, which was the only way you were allowed to leave the Grana.
Right.
But there was one who was in the city, who was borne away, stolen away. And here is the thing. Not even the gods know this. But that was Val Irlirith, the great bard of dancing.
Sir, was he blue?
She was... You know, there have been several Val Irliriths over my lifetime, and they all get named Val Irlirith. And I can't remember which color the last one was, to be quite honest. Sorry.
We were in another city.
It's in another document in my brain.
We were in another city during one of the festivals in honor of the, I think it was the god of the gentry. It was the god we were kind of like, why would we celebrate that god? We're not one of those folks. But there was a celebration going on, and we did see a great dancing dragonborn. I seem to recall them being blue, and there was flashes of lightning around them as they danced. It was remarkable to see.
Yes, Val Irlirith was indeed blue-scaled.
I wonder if that was her then.
Not entirely certain. But do you start to see? Do you start to see the grand design?
I think I'm getting the gist of it.
Do you understand why, Vapos?
I believe that I do, and frankly, I'm not sure that I disagree with it. You ask if I think that it was justified, but if it was to stop 1,000, 1,000,000 more such calamities happening in the future, to try to break that cycle, then perhaps it is.
Perhaps you are newly out of your organization. No doubt that it makes sense to you. The rest of my rhyme, which I sent you, now comes into focus, I hope. Dancer's doom, dragon's tomb, inescapable. It was a distraction.
See.
It was a distraction. To cover up their secret purpose. Now Val Irlirith is being forced to perform somewhere in the Leyline realm. History's ending, desperate sending, conflagrational. Do you remember our old friend Haferin?
Oh, yes. Very well.
There was a town destroyed in fire quite recently. was a big, grand attack by demons. But no one knows whether it was the devils that started the fire or someone else. The fire destroyed much of the town. And in the chaos, no one thought to check for the mad old hermit just outside of town. His tower full of books, no doubt now burned up. His many histories. Probably thought he was dead.
Akiri is putting puzzle pieces together visibly.
Who would have thought in that enormous attack, that dreadful occurrence, that it was all to cover up the theft, the kidnapping of one man?
Who are these people who are willing to commit genocide in order to... This seems overly complicated, to say the least.
How else can one defy or trick the gods?
But that brings up the question. If they're going after bards, why would they want a paladin?
Their machinations go far and wide. I don't know. What paladin are you speaking of?
So, as a Akiri player, I don't remember her name off the top of my head. But Akiri definitely does.
Oh,
But Val's something, right? Isn't it something? I don't remember.
Oh,
That
is
was
this
a half ago.
the lady who is in charge of...
Yeah, she's the one who got us all together, got the gang together.
Oh,
What is
her
Proudheart?
Yeah, her. That's the one. Thank you. Yeah, Lady Proudheart. Yeah, she got taken by them.
Indeed.
Was it Vale or Val? It started with a V.
Vale Proudheart.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. Well, not everyone is valuable to these monsters in and of themselves. Sometimes it matters who they are related to. And Vale Proudheart, before she settled down and became mayor of whatever little town it was,
Same one that got attacked.
she
by
had a
bees.
son. A son who himself became a great and powerful paladin. He was famous for dragon slaying.
Oh yeah.
And he was
We've heard of him.
also a great poet, a warrior poet. Not everyone knows this. But he was great indeed. Or is. But he has been perverted. And his intent turned dark and evil. But he is no slouch in terms of power. In combat,
As Samson found out.
But I have no doubt that even so, his mother would be a powerful bargaining chip in terms of manipulating Zendrig, champion of the Red. Full name Zendrig Proudheart.
Yes, I think we know something about him. Good heavens.
And Carrie's gonna rub her temples. There is so much going on. I thought we were just gonna fight a dragon and go about our day. And here we are. Saving the world, maybe, possibly?
Well, good luck with that. I don't know that there's anything we can do about it. Perhaps you have some ideas. One thing to do would probably be helpful to protect the great bards like me. And the one they're going after next.
And who's that?
Is it a gay friend?
Ah, shit.
Probably.
What'd you say?
What good is he? He's blind.
He's
can't-
still a.
Who?
That's a good point. He can't paint anymore because he's blind.
Yeah, what would they even ask him to do?
Next satire, comedic liar.
Oh.
Hierarchical.
I don't think I know them.
Indeed. I don't think you do. But, nonetheless, she is real.
Well, where do we find her?
Far to the south. She rules. In her own little kingdom, a monarch. She is quite funny, satirical, a great bard of satire. Her name is Dawn. But, let us speak more on that another time. I want to try to answer your questions of the more immediate import. And then I will help you plan your next move. You can take the card back if you want. Coin.
Alright.
But I want you to be sure to understand that they need the great bards. They need all 9 of us. They don't need us specifically. When one great bard dies, the position is opened up, so to speak. And those who sell their souls to the great muse can become the next great bard.
Wait, what? Also, another thing that's never really come up in conversation.
Well, that's because it's a bit of a trade secret. The Inkbloods, we were a little bit more of a religious organization than I ever let on. Not religious exactly, but It wasn't pure literary undertakings. And the Calamity League, however, takes the Muse more seriously in some ways than we do. And truly worship her. But the thing is, the Muse gives freely of her power. She is a goddess outside of the Cycle Pantheon, but she is not offensive to them. They can't do anything about her. She does not enter into their own cycle. She is outside of their trap. And so, if her power were to be perverted, if great bards were to all come together and to create something, I have begun to suspect, this is not a certainty, I have begun to suspect that we could begin to bend and change reality itself. Perhaps we could break the cycle. Perhaps we could forge an empire with, say, 4 incredibly powerful emperors ruling over it for all eternity. A perfect crystal prison, frozen in time and incredible power. Ever and ever and ever. Unchanged.
And tell me, how is that worse than thousands upon thousands dying in these calamities and forcing people to constantly be put in a position where they can never reach anything close to their full potential, never letting people gather together in one place for long enough to build something meaningful like they can anywhere else in the world? You keep saying perverted. You keep saying that they're doing heinous crimes, but you just admitted that the cycle gods are doing the same thing on a much, much grander scale.
You are right, young man. This is a philosophical question, I suppose.
Vapos is going to stand up and start walking away and saying, I don't consider I don't consider spending people's lives to be a philosophical question.
He shouts after you, I am the one who is kidnapped. I am the one who has suffered loss, torture, pain. Don't speak of what you do not know.
Vapos keeps walking away.
Well, all right then.
Maybe.
Maybe he was not ready for all of these secrets. But I am very tired now. And there's much to think about.
Well, I've set up a tent. We've set up watches. If you let me, I'll stay in the tent with you. Or if you prefer to sleep alone, I certainly understand. You need your rest.
I have been far too alone. It would give me enormous pleasure to sleep next to my daughter tonight.
Then I'll help you into the tent. And I'm really glad that we found you safe.
I am glad too. I hope I have not just done something terrible by telling all these secrets to you.
I think
I
you'll
hope
come.
all of you are strong enough to bear this terrible burden. Perhaps it was unfair of me to lay that out. But
No, I think it's high time we knew. We've been dancing around these secrets for some time, and nobody would really tell us much of anything, so it's a relief, honestly, to be able to put it into focus. For
Yeah,
me,
it's good to have some clarity. I mean, I understood about maybe 5% of all that, really over my head, but it's good to know what's going on.
that's 5% more than you understood before.
I'm glad you are strong. Well, let us sleep and consider next moves. As if to punctuate his sentence, there is one final firework that rises up from the ziggurat. Exploding. A big circle of fire in the sky that looks an awful lot like a tremendous maw full of darkness. And swooping low, flying through and among the fireworks, utterly fearlessly, is a huge airship with some strange animal, long-necked creatures sticking their heads out curiously out of the portholes. Flies over the ziggurat, swoops once, and continues on toward Westhead.
Oh boy.
Excellent. We have something for her.
And with that,
Yeah, I guess we do.
we are going to call it. Thank you all very much. I kept it to 2 hours, or even under 2 hours, which I think was a very productive session.
Yeah, for sure. That was a lot of fun.
Some very dramatic philosophical questions now lie before
I'm
you.
going to have to think really hard about how Vapos feels about this.
Yeah.
Because right now he is very confused and angry and hurt. And
Thank you very much for picking up on that. That thread. That made me very, very happy.
cool.
I wonder how Akiri's feeling. Perhaps we will find out.
She's still processing everything in her
Yeah.
head. Honestly, it's still rolling around in her head.
I
It's
think
gonna
I'm
be
going to have to
interesting.
write an in-character piece this week.
Ooh. All right. Well, thank you so much, guys. Thank you to the man with no screen name. Some good jokes and dramatic phrases. Thanks for hanging out. And you're very welcome. Thank you to anyone else who's hanging out. Hey, Ethan Hans. Thanks for coming by. Thank you to everyone who watches this later. You're awesome. You are totally awesome. This was a lot of fun. We are definitely going to be looking at changing up the schedule. We're considering some options because it's very late for these guys in the East Coast and in the Middle Coast. the but we will see. We will see. We're considering several options to continue the story, but make it possible for everyone to play. See, there you go, right on cue. I reminded Em how tired she is, but I appreciate it. Thank you so very, very, very much to Jeremy, player of Breath. Thank you so very much to M, player of Akiri. Thank you to Kirsten, player of Bella, and who got Rosie to sleep.
Round of applause for that.
Just as heroically. And thank you very, very much to Corey, player of Vapos. Guys, well role-played tonight. This was a role-play heavy session. And which is perfect, because we had a couple of really combat-heavy ones. So that was hopefully a nice balance there. I will say good night to all, and we will be back. Probably be streaming in the evening sometime later this weekend or during the week for more fun and games. I guess that's it, guys. Thanks for the great storytelling.
Awesome. Thank you, Max, for bringing it all together.
Yeah, it was fun. There are so many threads you just threw together.
Yep.
Laid down since like session 1. That's insane.
Yep. Yeah. Not Corey wasn't even here for session 1.
Nope.
But maybe now Vale Proudheart is important to him as well. All right. Well, we're gonna say goodnight, everybody. Thank you again, and have a good one. Be safe.
Night.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.